Have you ever been on a sales call where everything's going great until it's time to ask for the money? That moment, your heart starts racing, your mouth goes dry, and then the words just don't come out. You know what you should say, but something stops you. So you end another call with, I'll send you some information, or let's circle back next week, and you're left feeling defeated. So I see this happen all the time with talented professionals like you. That painful pattern, you're giving away free value and expertise in Zoom calls, but they're not turning into clients. Another week goes by, another month where you're in the friend zone and no one's actually buying from you, right? So today I'm gonna share the framework that helps my clients close sales. I'm gonna give you my process, the words that you should say to get people to give you money. And I'm gonna give you my closing frameworks that work almost every time. My name is Ayo, and I've helped more than 100 service providers transform their business from free advice machines into profitable enterprises. And my business has generated more than $2 million, mastering the skill of confidently asking for the sale, which is what I'm about to show you today. So before diving into tactics, you have to understand this truth. These pick your brain sessions are hurting your business. Every single time you leave the call without asking for money, you're not just losing the client, but you're creating a pattern that makes the next ask even harder. The craziest thing that I've figured out after working with so many service providers and skilled professionals, like 2/3 of them literally do not ask for the money, right? So that's not being respectful, that's self-sabotage. And you know what it does when you don't ask for the sale? You signal that your services aren't valuable. You train yourself to avoid the necessary discomfort it takes to grow your business. You undermine your position as an expert. You waste time with people who won't convert. And this does more than harm your income, it harms your confidence. And you have to weed this out ASAP because it is hurting your livelihood in a deep way. It's something that you need to get fixed ASAP. So let's understand your sales hesitation and talk about what's really happening when you freeze up at the close, right? So I've been there. You get the knot in your stomach, the voice in your head questioning if you're really worth the money. We've all felt it. The moment where you're gonna state the price, and then all of a sudden you hear yourself saying a number that's 20% lower than what you planned, or you start throwing in bonuses you never intended to offer, or you hear yourself saying, hey, we can definitely work something out if that's too much for you, right? So the issue isn't that you don't know what to say, it's that you're fighting deep-seated beliefs about money and value. Every time you hesitate, those beliefs are getting stronger. But I've seen this pattern, and I've fixed it with clients who are making 3 to 5K a month and help them scale to 20K a month by addressing these barriers. So these are the 3 most common limiting beliefs I see. Number 1 is the imposter syndrome. Who am I to charge premium rates? Number 2 is the scarcity mindset. If I ask too much, they'll walk away. Then there's the people pleaser trap. If I push for the sale, they won't like me. All right, so long story short, each of these beliefs obliterates your close rate, right? So one of my clients, Khadijah, closed her first client for $2,500. She said, it was kind of unexpected, right? She kept saying the client wanted to do a lower price option, but later on the call, she ended up going for the full price. And according to Khadijah, the reason why is because the person said she liked her confidence. So the difference is that Khadijah learned to ask for the money confidently and unapologetically. How did she go from being terrified to ask for the sale to confidently closing her first $2,500 client? So here's a simple framework you can use to confidently ask for the sale. We call it the clear method, right? So for C, you're gonna confirm the problem and the cost. L, you're gonna link it to specific outcomes. E, you're gonna establish your unique approach. A, you're gonna address objections proactively, or you're gonna request the decision directly. So let's break down each of these step by step, right? So number 1, before you ask the money, you have to confirm the problem. You have to find the real problem that they're going through, and you have to stretch the problem and make them understand how long it's been going on. So you can say something like this: based on what you shared, it sounds like you're dealing with this specific problem and it's costing you this specific outcome. Does that sound about right? So this creates a value anchor that makes your fee seem reasonable in comparison, right? So that's what happens mentally. They compare your price to their pain, and if their pain is so heavy that the money is worth giving it up to solve, they'll give you the money. Next, you want to link to specific outcomes, right? So you want to paint a clear picture of the outcomes you're going to deliver. So this is where most service providers miss. They vaguely talk about helping instead of naming concrete and measurable results. So you could say, hey, working together, we're gonna focus on achieving these 3 specific outcomes, which means you're gonna get this tangible result in this time frame, which is gonna create this impact, right? So for example, you could say something like, working together, we're gonna focus on creating your sales system, converting your skills into a high ticket offer, and implement this client acquisition system, which means you're gonna have a reliable way to close clients. So you can add 10K in revenue in 6 months or your money back, right? So this approach works consistently and shifts the conversation from cost to investment. Next, you're gonna establish your unique approach, right? So before you ask for the money, you wanna differentiate yourself from the alternatives. So when you're asking the questions in discovery, you're gonna ask them what they've already tried before. And then when you come to the pitch, you're gonna talk about how yours is different and say, okay, unlike those other programs that you've taken that didn't work for you, mine's gonna work because I've tested these strategies across these different industries. And so instead of focusing on those generic tactics that were in your other program, we're gonna do a custom one-on-one plan so that you can get the result in a way that doesn't feel forced, right? So you wanna address whatever they said didn't work for them in the past, and then just replace yourself in a way that sounds different. And then you wanna address objections proactively. So in your pitch, you could bring up the thing that they're gonna be thinking about. So for example, you might say something like, you might be wondering if this will work in your specific industry. That's a great question. I've actually worked with clients in blank industry, the one similar to them, who has the same problems that you do, and we got this result, right? So the reason why this works across different industries is because it's based on psychological principles and systems instead of everyday trends, so it's evergreen, right? So you just wanna have some sort of way to speak to what their objections are and handle them beforehand. Last, you wanna request a decision directly, right? So this is where everything typically falls apart for most skilled professionals. They get so caught up in the moment that they forget to ask for the money, or they start offering discounts and bonuses. That's not what you wanna do, right? So you could say something like this: based on everything we discussed, I think I can help you get to this outcome. My service is this price, and then you don't talk. You shut up. You have to let the time go by for them to make a decision, right? So the silence might feel uncomfortable, but that's why it works. So most people will fill that silence with a decision. So you stay silent, wait for the response, and then either they're gonna say yes, or you're gonna continue to have a conversation that leads to them making a decision. But confidently asking for the money is going to lead to more sales and more definitive decisions from your clients. So let's talk about how to implement this framework in your very next sales conversation. Number 1, before the call, write out your specific, clear framework elements tailored to your service and the prospect's likely challenges. Practice it out loud. Say your price out loud a few times before the call. This helps you get comfortable with the number and it builds confidence. So you also want to record your sales conversations so that you can identify where you're hesitating or using weaker language. Start with lower stakes. I think in the beginning, you should take calls with every prospect because you just want to get in the reps on how to run a sales call. And then you want to review yourself and rate yourself on how well you directly ask for the money on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So this is a process that's going to take a couple weeks to implement, but you're going to start seeing improvement very fast. So getting good at sales and getting over hesitation isn't just about scripts and tactics. You need a fundamental mindset shift around the value of your expertise, right? So when you don't ask for the sale, you're actually doing a disservice to the people who need your help. If someone has a problem that you can solve and you have the solution, not offering them the opportunity to work with you is unfair to them. You're keeping the transformation that they came for away from them. So if you implement the clear framework, your closing rates will go up. So imagine ending each day knowing you didn't leave money on the table. No more second guessing whether you could have closed that deal or not. No more wondering how you're gonna make ends meet next month. Just clarity, confidence, and consistent income from clients who value what you bring to the table. So if you want to improve your sales skills and confidently ask for the sale, book a call with me where I will talk about my sales system. And we will put together a plan to help you add an extra 5 to 10K a month in revenue in the next 6 months, right? This will be a sales call, but I will show you a plan that's going to help you grow your business in a way that's going to be chill and conversational. And we're just going to see if it's a good fit. And if I think it's a good fit, I'm going to ask you for the money, right? So go to the link in the description, book a call with me. Let's talk about getting your business off the ground, and I will see you very soon. Thank you for watching this video.